And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big Sean McCarthy.
Well, hello and welcome to the Weighing In Podcast. We got a ton to talk about. There's some huge fights that are going to take place. There has been some huge signings that we're going to talk about. All kinds of good things going on. My man wearing Tenori, black and white, looking good. He's looking stylish.
I love Tenori, man.
Yeah, you do. Pat
awesome.
Pat takes care of you way too.
He does.
Pat
loves me, man, and all the employees that are out there, man. They work so hard. It's hard to start. John, you know this. Anytime you start a business, it's extremely hard, and the fact that he's out there trying to basically have lightning strike twice. You know, when he started Ruka and then now starting Tenori. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but hey,
but he works.
When your boys, man, your boys are doing something, you got to cheer them on and root for them and do whatever you can to help them grow. So that's what I'm here doing, man. I love the guy. I love his gear. I love everything he's done. This is one of my favorite hats. It's getting a little old though, so it's got weathered.
Quit touching it.
I love it, man. It's so nice. So nice.
Dude, all of my hats, especially being on the farm, man. After a week, it looks like it's 10 years old. It's bad.
John, we got some good news, man. Before we give you that good news that happened that we've been talking about for like the last probably week and a half or 2 weeks. Yeah. You know, we got betustv.com, betustv.com. Hey, check out all their sports and stuff at their website. Check them all out. But hey, John, Aaron Pico.
No, you said Aaron.
Yeah.
And you got Hank Aaron behind you. Do you know what today is?
His birthday?
Oh, Jesus. You see, this is what's wrong with you. You put up the man's jersey. This is the guy that ended up today, 51 years ago, hit the home run that put him in first place ahead of Babe Ruth. Do you know that?
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that today was the day.
Today is the day. This is back in 1974. I was actually watching that game when I was a kid.
I was
you were not even around.
No, I'm still relishing over
you were living a different life.
I'm still relishing over Alex Ovechkin, man. Getting ahead of Gretzky.
Moves ahead of Gretzky. Still way behind. You never catch him in points, but as far as goals, it's impressive.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, like that was a record that no one thought that it would ever be broken.
Well, they never thought Gordie Howe's would be broken. And Gordie Howe played forever.
Yeah.
You know, and then Gretzky goes and he beats that. But the goals thing, yeah, if you look at it, I mean, it's unbelievable. And Ovechkin has been, what's remarkable to me about Ovechkin is that his career has been as steady as it has been. I mean, not that he's a phenomenal player, but he's an aggressive player. He's a guy, he bangs. He has people banging into him all the time. And man, he don't miss games.
No.
That guy is always out there. You know, he's remarkable.
Did you see the knockout that he got over that young buck that tried him one day?
Oh, yeah.
It just happened, I think, 2 seasons ago, or maybe it was the beginning of last season. Yeah, one of the young guys thought he'd challenge him, and Obi laid him out. Yeah. Ice cold. Yeah, I was talking with Nordy about it. It was just classic, man. It was awesome. Like, don't test the old guys, man. Leave the old guys alone.
Old guys are tough.
I mean, I like to test Big John, but I'm on the other side of the camera, so there's nothing he can do to me from over here. It's so funny. I was reading the comments like I normally do, and I was talking. I guess I said something in the last show about don't fuck with two people, don't fuck with kids, and don't mess with old people. And they're like, man, that's kind of funny coming from you since you're always messing with John.
That's what I said. I said it right there. I said, why are you always picking on me then?
It was great because they clipped it and put it. It was funny, man. People were sending me the clip in my DMs for Instagram. It was hilarious, though.
Can you imagine me complaining about someone being mean to me? My God, I'm after everybody
all the time. They don't know.
I'm after everybody. I know. I'm after everybody.
Complaining about people being mean to you.
You lie. God. You are such a liar.
He's the male version of a Karen. What do we call those? Caleb's? Is that what we call them? Caleb's? Whether you're an Olympic athlete, professional hockey player, MMA world champion, or just an active kid, LMNT helps anyone stay hydrated. Each stick pack delivers a meaningful dose of electrolytes free of sugar, artificial colors, or other dodgy ingredients. Get your free sample pack with any LMNT drink mix purchase through link in bio. Also try the new LMNT Sparkling, a bold 16-ounce can with sparkling electrolyte water. Roll, train, ride, or play, but stay hydrated and stay salty. There's some really big news that came out today. I mean, this show is not, it's not a live show, so this show is going to drop tomorrow morning. But look, Aaron Pico signed with the UFC. You know,
Boom!
We've been talking about it for the last week and a half, you know, and there was a lot of talks about him getting the contract to fight Evolov and the UFC deals happening. And I said, there was a couple hiccups. We talked about it on the weekend show. And I said, look, there's some things that are close, but it's just not quite there yet. And they were able to get it worked out. And like I said, the PFL had the matching rights, but the UFC has ways of putting together contracts so that the PFL just doesn't have the ability to match.
Very difficult to match.
Yeah, very difficult. They'd have to do something that they're just not capable of doing at this time. And so the UFC was able to get it done. I'm happy, man. I'm so happy for Aaron Pico. I think the Evolov fight is a perfect fight for him to come into the organization. I'm not saying that fight's going to happen. To me, that is a very good fight for him to come into the organization. If you guys don't know about Aaron Pico, though, John, you can speak on this as well. Such an amazing person. Good person at heart. Great to be around. Big heart. He's just always got a smile on his face. Just a great personality as well. Very humble. I love that about him. He's nothing like me. So you guys are all watch this show. You guys will love him. Okay. Aaron Pico's a fantastic person. And I also think he's going to end up being one of the best fighters in the world. Now, I may be a little biased because I've known the kid for a long time. But he's got talent. He's got big power in his hands. I've felt that power. It sat me to my butt one time. And as well as the wrestling pedigree. I like the Evolov fight based on the fact that the UFC does not like Evolov right now. They're not big fans. Otherwise, he'd be getting the title shot over Lopes. I mean, Lopes has losses to him.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's got a loss. He's one loss in the UFC.
Neither one of them have lost since they fought each other. And Lopes has that loss to him, but yet Lopes was able to leapfrog him to the title. I think this is a fight that they're looking to try and make a splash. And if they do, I think you give him the undefeated fighter and Evolov, and we see exactly where Aaron Pico's at. That's a good matchup for me. Pico's got the wrestling to maybe stymie his wrestling. The one thing, let me ask you if you agree. The size of Evolov concerns me a little bit. He is physically a very, very big guy. And Aaron Pico is not, for the weight class, is not a big guy.
He's not a big guy, but he is. Yeah, and it's the same thing for Evolov. So both of them are in incredible condition. I mean, if there's nobody that I will sit there and say has a harder work ethic or is physically, cardiovascular wise in better condition than Aaron Pico. He is absolutely just a machine. You watch him when he fights. He's not breathing hard at all. He gets done with a round and he goes, yeah, and that's it. No big breaths or anything. You watch his diaphragm, hardly any movement. He's just amazing. Evolov is right there with him. He's in amazing shape, physically very strong. He is bigger than Aaron, but not by them enough that I honestly think it would concern me. They're really unique if that fight ends up happening in the fact that they're wrestling. Look, Aaron's wrestling is every bit what Evolov's is, or Evolov's is basically every bit for MMA. Evolov can, try to take Pico down. He's going to have a hard time. Pico can try to take Evolov down. He's going to have a hard time, but he'll get it there. But it's going to end up taking away what is the strength of both of them. And then it's going to be about being on the feet. And people can say what they want. Aaron Pico started off with this whole thing about, he's a Golden Glove, boxer. He's really good. He does have good hands. He was training with, guys like Freddie Roach and things like that. But he has learned to be an MMA fighter now. And that's the big difference is when he was first fighting, he was fighting in elements, meaning he was wrestling. And then he would try to strike on the ground, and it really wasn't what we would say that's a good ground and pound. It just wasn't there because no one taught him how to truthfully do it. And then you would watch him in the stand-up and he would do things, but it would at times put him in trouble based upon, he would hurt people and go after him and lose the thought process. I still have to protect myself. And, got clipped a couple times, got hurt, got put away. He is so much of a different fighter ever since he's been with Jackson Wink. After 2 years with them, you could see just this amazing progression with him as a complete mixed martial artist, a guy that was putting submissions on people, a guy that he was transitioning from one element to the next, back and forth, and just absolutely amazing the gas tank that he had and the pressure that he could create with all of these attacks and just maintain them and just keep going. He had the one setback with Jeremy Kennedy where it's called bad luck. He threw a punch and his shoulder dislocated and he couldn't get it popped back in. He went through the whole round with it dislocated, sat there in the worst position I ever saw someone sitting, as far as having someone trying to jerk his shoulder back into place, which was not the way to do it, but it's all they knew. But that's the only setback he's had, and those things are going to happen. He is a remarkable roster addition for the UFC. This shakes up the 145-pound. I love the fact that Pitbull got there, but it doesn't shake it up like Aaron Pico shakes it up. Aaron Pico being there, that.
Why do you say that?
Based upon he's 28 years old. He is a 28-year-old at 145 pounds. I don't think he's going to end up, at 33 being a 155-pounder. He's going to stay at 145 pounds. He is made for that division. He is physically absolutely perfect for it. He's strong. He's fast. He has all the elements. And you take a look at what he brings as a fighter now. Is they can sit there and you're talking about putting him against Evolov. Evolov is sitting up there at number 3 or 4 on the rankings. Okay. In reality, you want to say, if you're going to bring him in and you want to put him against someone that's in the top 15, look at a guy like Yusuf Zalal or somebody like that, somewhere around 10 or 11 in there. Okay. Great stand-up by Zalal. The guy now is utilizing a ground game. Put him against Aaron Pico. Let's see what happens. And that's a great entry
so far
point.
down?
We mean so far down. You got a guy coming in and he's getting a shot at someone that's right in the top 10, basically.
I didn't hear you make this complaint when Patricio was coming in.
I didn't make that. There's a difference between Patricio. Patricio has been a multi-time world champion. Patricio is at 38 years of age. Patricio is on a fast track. You don't have to fast track Aaron Pico. Simple.
Really, you think that's it? You think the way for him to, I could have seen if you would have mashed him against, I don't know. I don't see it. I just see you have Aaron Pico. He's 29 years old.
28.
And yeah, 28, 28, 29.
I don't know. I thought he was 28. I could be wrong.
So let's 28.
George, find out. Is he 28 or 29?
28. Okay, so basically the beginning of his prime. And you want to waste a year having him fight his way up?
Waste a year. Where am I wasting anything? It's not. I'm not wasting anything. I'm taking a guy who's 28 years of age. We'll say he's going to be 29. And by the time he's 29, if I can give him 3 fights, I've put him in a position to fight for a title. Where am I wasting time? I'm taking my time and putting him against people that I look at and go, hey, that's a good fighter. And this is his first fight in the UFC. How many times do we say it? Different location, different people, different, matchmakers that you're talking with. Everything's different. And there's going to be some nerves there with it. Give him somebody. You don't have to put someone in the top 5. I'm saying give him someone in the top 15.
Yeah, I guess. I understand what we've said this, but I've said it multiple times. The first fight into a new organization is always tough.
Rough.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who you are, where you came from. It doesn't matter. Anytime you're in a new organization, it's tough. I understand that mentality. I look at Evolov as someone who is basically tailor-made for him. I'm not saying he's going to beat him. I'm not saying it would be an easy fight. I'm simply saying that stylistically, they would just wrestle each other until they realize it's a lot of effort to wrestle each other, and they would stand. And I would give the advantage to Aaron Pico in the stand-up department with his boxing and the way he's evolving in terms of his kicking and all those things. Evolov is not bad on the feet. He's just not great. Aaron's got the better boxing, the cleaner boxing, but doesn't mean that he can't be clipped or knocked out.
The one thing he definitely has, he has the bigger power.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. But the physical body size goes to Evolov. Now, I can go on down this list, though. And look, Arnold Allen would be a good fight. It'd be a fun fight. Him and Pico would be a fun fight.
You are big into putting him in against people that have been there, done that.
John, I'm okay. I'm okay with giving him somebody. Like, if you want to go further down the line, we can go with Dan Ige. But Dan's also managed by Ali, which that fight's not going to happen.
No.
And then you could have him fight. You could have him fight someone like a Calvin Kattar or a Bryce Mitchell. Bryce is fighting this weekend. Those are guys.
Dan Ige.
Yeah, he's fighting Dan Ige. So I understand what you're saying. There's matchups there, but I also look at it. Aaron Pico was supposed to basically fight Patricio Pitbull in Bellator for the title.
Yeah.
Fight never came to fruition.
Yeah.
So if I'm Aaron Pico, I'm like, look, I've been working hard for the last, 3 years, getting myself to this level. I should have been fighting Patricio. Patricio is now fighting a top 5 guy. I'm not saying I got to leapfrog him, but I want to be up there in that mix. I want to be ready. Now, I understand the entrance into it. Maybe you give him I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you. Maybe like a Calvin Kattar. Give him a Calvin Kattar and see what happens.
Great.
He wins that fight, and then he works his way up. But I mean, Yusuf Zalal is fine as well. I just if you want to do an intro fight, yeah, sure. Those are your 2 guys probably. Excluding Ige because of the management. But I mean, I would say those 2 guys. But then after that, I mean, for me, it'd be right to Evolov. Right to an Arnold Allen.
I totally understand, and I agree with you that at that point he gets that win. Put him up against someone in the Arnold Allen, stratosphere or Evolov. That's fine. Either one's great, but give him that opening foray into a new promotion, getting used to things, just the difference of how things are run. Look, nothing's going to bother Aaron. He's been to too many different level things. He's a class act. This is a guy that, he just does things right. And he's a young father that, he understands who he is. He doesn't have to impress anybody. He likes his time, just with himself and his son. And I think the UFC did themselves proud by the signing of Aaron Pico. I know Sean Shelby and Maynard are just freaking giddy over him, and they should be. You got a talent like that. That's something that you like to say, oh, look at what I can do now.
Yeah, it's not even so much a talent. And for you guys that don't understand, it really is like having a fighter that is going to represent your organization to the best, to the best of its ability. You realize when he walks around, anywhere within public or whatever, people are going to be like, oh man, he's so respectful. He's so nice. He's kind to everybody. He's always got a smile on his face. He's going to greet every single person. Like, that's what you want to represent your organization. And, and I guess as of lately, they haven't really had that. They've got a couple fighters that, that are that way, but it started going the other way. We've started getting more trash talkers, more bullshit, and fighters that don't represent, the sport in the best way. And he's one that will.
Yep.
So, and I really enjoy that about him. I love him as a person. I think he's a fantastic human being. So one of the nicest guys I think we've ever met, at least I've ever met in person.
No, he's awesome.
He's great. Yeah. All right. Hey, we're going to go ahead and move right into the UFC pay-per-view. What is it? 314?
314.
Yep, UFC.
From
yep, and let's go ahead and just rock. Let's go right into the Alexander Volkanovski and Diego Lopes fight. John, this is going to be a fun fight, man. A very fun fight.
It's one of those fights you look at and it's like, man, there's so many ways this fight can go. But Volkanovski has been a phenomenal champion, but he has hit a skid. There's no doubt about it. You can't sit there and try to sugarcoat it. He's had one win since 2022. Okay. That's, and that was against Yair Rodríguez, and nothing, and you have to put a little asterisk by that in saying, yeah, but look at who he's fought. He fought the other guys he fought at that time are Islam Makhachev twice, and then Ilia Topuria. So it's not like he's, not fighting the very best. So yeah, he's in that position of he's the maybe though. And maybe he's okay now. Maybe he's gotten past the damage that he took, in his last couple fights. Maybe he has, rehabbed himself, and the effects of the knockouts are now, not going to bother him, and he's going to be able to take a shot. Maybe he's that same guy that we've seen in the past, just go out there and dominate people. But now there's a maybe with Volkanovski, and he's got to go out and prove that, nope, there's no maybe. I'm the same guy.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure on him. I don't
There
think there's
is.
as much pressure on Diego Lopes. I mean, this is a big deal for Diego Lopes in terms of winning the title. I just don't think there's as much pressure on him as there is in Volkanovski. Look, it's not just about the fact that he was being considered to be probably the best 145-pounder ever, with his win over Jose Aldo, his win over Max Holloway 3 times, I believe. He's got all these wins against the best guys, and then challenged himself and went up and tried to fight Islam.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it done. Both times. One time to a decision, the other time to getting finished. And then turning around and fighting too soon and fighting Ilia Topuria and getting finished again.
Yeah.
There's tons of questions to be answered, but I think not even
A lot of maybes.
You say there's maybes. I say there's questions to be answered, but not just by us. He's got these questions in his own head, which scares me a little bit. That's what concerns me. He's in his mind. I don't want to say doubting himself, but he's wondering, am I going to hold up? Is my chin going to hold up? Am I going to be able to fight like I used to fight before I fought Islam the first time, or when I did fight Islam the first time? He had a spectacular performance against Islam. Can I get back to that level? Can I fight with that kind of confidence? Will I be hesitant when I get hit? Will I stop and pause? Will I freeze? Those are all questions that need to be answered. Can I handle the power of Diego Lopes in the first 2 rounds?
That's another question.
And those are all questions that are going through his mind. He's got these questions himself. He wants to know if he can return back to his true form of the Islam, one fight and previously before all those other fights. That's only something that can be answered on Saturday night.
It is, but if let's say that you are his training staff, how are you game planning for him? What's your game plan for this fight?
John, it's so hard for me. I would say leg kicks and stay away.
Okay. See, I agree with you. I would tell him, look, I don't want you to engage in any big time, exchanges. Leg kicks like you did in the first Max Holloway fight. Stay away, move. I don't care if you win the round. I just want you to frustrate him. I want you to give him a look and then take it away. I want you to move. I want you to just little shots, pick him apart a little bit. If you lose the round, doesn't matter. But I want you to get him into the 3rd round. And I only need you to win 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And so the first 2 rounds, I'm really going to look at and say, you know what, we're gonna make sure that we don't take the big shot. We're gonna sit there and we're gonna be a little bit frustrating. We're gonna make him work, at a pace that is pushing him as much as we can. But I'm not gonna look at trying to get this kid out of there in the first couple rounds. If this fight ends in the first couple rounds, it's going to be Diego Lopes winning this fight.
Does that what you're telling me though, is that give him the confidence of feeling like his team believes he can win? That's the problem with having these kind of conversations with your fighter.
Well, it is the problem, but you got to be honest with your fighter, and you got to say, hey, I need you to go out there and settle in, relax, take it easy. See that, you're the same guy and you can handle anything he throws. But this is a guy that I know gets tired. He's not like Max Holloway. He's not like Islam Makhachev, or he is like Islam was in the 5th round of that first fight you had. And that's where I want you to push him to. I want you to push him to that point where it doesn't matter what he wants. He's dead. He's tired, and you're just going to roll over him. That's called smart game planning when you're taking a look at it. power wise, Volkanovski's had a lot of nice knockouts, but they're, few in between different fighters and stuff. And you take a look at their volume. He volumes people to the point where he overwhelms them. Diego's not that guy. Diego is I brawl and I just hit you with huge shots that put you out. And so in looking at it in the first couple rounds, where's the power going to be? It's going to be in Diego Lopes's corner. He's the guy that's going to have the power. What I need is Volkanovski to be the guy that sits there and understands, yeah, he's got power. I need to be smart. I need to stay at length. He's bigger than me, so that's not easy to do. But when I come in, I throw my attack and I get myself out and I reset and just do it over and over again and frustrate him and then drag him into the big, deep waters. And once he's in the deep waters and I can push his head underneath, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, he's got to be either all the way in or all the way out. He's got to be in kicking range or he's got to be in clinch range. And my only concern with him being in clinch range is that Diego's got a really good arming guillotine and guillotine. And he'll jump guillotine as well. And then he'll go right from guillotine to triangle, which is exactly where Brian Ortega had Volkanovski in a lot of trouble. And so when you're looking back at the past fights where I said like on the midweek or on the weekend show, is he's got issues in that area. And him being with his height and Diego being so tall, it's easier to get that head down, get it right into the guillotine position, that arming guillotine position, and then utilize that to hook, sweep, get to the top position, just like Brian Ortega did.
Yeah.
And so those things concern me when I start thinking about where Volkanovski's at in that first round. He's literally got to be either pressing him to the fence, keeping his head underneath the chin so he can't put his head down into the arm positions, into the guillotine positions, or
all that's good work.
He's got to be all the way out.
Yeah.
And I would agree with you. He's got to drag it into rounds 3, 4, and 5. Yeah. He can't take any damage. But here's the caveat is this though, John, he's got to really push action in the first 2 rounds to make Diego tired. You can't just run and stick.
No. That's my whole point. You're going to have to be able to push him as much as you can to get him to that point, because you can't just let him be the one in control and you're the one that's backing off. You've got to create exchanges, but they've got to be smart exchanges. So when you're coming in, you're closing that gap, you're throwing your shots, circling out, getting away, start to recharge that engine for the next attack.
I mean, we're going to find out, man. Hey, right after we wrap up on the main card, we're actually going to give you guys some odds and how we would break this fight down in terms of betting odds. So that'll be brought to you by betustv.com. But let's go ahead and jump right into the co-main event. Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett.
So, this is a fight we talked about long ago. We kind of made this fight. You remember that? We talked about who would be a good matchup. Well, you know what? I think Paddy Pimblett and Michael Chandler would be a great fight. And I think it is. They have similar opponents. Tony Ferguson being one, you can take a look at, Michael Chandler was able to get a win against Tony. He was able to get the big knockout with that kick that was devastating. Paddy Pimblett was able to get the win against Tony, different way. But, this is the meeting of 2 guys that are in different points in their careers. Michael Chandler is still a very explosive and definitely well-trained athlete, a guy who does everything the right way as far as preparing himself for the fight. In my opinion, he gave away too much of his career trying to get that Conor fight when he thought he had it because of the Ultimate Fighter coaching thing. And he let a lot of his, UFC career just sit there. And it was a mistake. And why I say it's a mistake is no matter what you say, or not you, but because but no matter what people say, is when you are not fighting, you're losing ground. And yeah, you can be in the gym and you can be just, doing training. But if you don't have that target that, you're looking at, or that fight that's set up and you have that date, you're just going through motions and you're kind of staying in shape, or you might be working on, a certain technique or something like that, but you're really not improving yourself in any fashion. And then it gets to a point when you're 38 years of age, you're not improving yourself ever. You're always trying to get back to where you were. Let me try to be as good as I was against, whatever last fight is you want to say or whatever. But, right now that's where Michael Chandler's at. I'm not saying that he's not a very talented fighter. I've loved the guy as far as his ability to put on amazing fights. He's entertaining as hell. He's tough. He does have power. He's got power in both hands. It used to be only one. Now he's got a left hand that really works well for him. He switches his stance and uses it well. But I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, if Paddy fights a smart fight and uses his length and his size advantage, I don't think he's going to have that huge of a reach advantage, but he's going to have a size advantage. And he is the better stand-up fighter technically. I don't think he has the power that Mike has with one shot, but Mike's power tends to really dissipate, after the first round. And grappling wise, obviously Chandler was the All-American wrestler, but that's gone. He's not a wrestler anymore. He really doesn't wrestle all that much. And he can wrestle, but Paddy's, good enough defensively to stop the kind of takedowns that Michael's used to utilizing. And I look at this as a fight that Paddy Pimblett, this is a launching point for his career as a guy that you can put into that mix of this guy's going to be a future world champion.
Yeah, I could see how you could think that. And I'm not leaning any more towards, Paddy. I think Paddy's going to win the fight. That's one. Two is I think Paddy can win it any way he wants. And this is why I'm coming to this conclusion. I went back and watched the Charles Oliveira fight, the second one.
Which one?
Most recent one. This most recent one. Michael Chandler is now just comfort. He was comfortable with giving his back. He was comfortable with Charles Oliveira being on the back. There was no sense of urgency to get out. And if you watch, he let the fight just slip away just by just hanging out inside, having the back taken, knowing that, hey, I can just defend and not have to worry about it. He was giving up takedowns. Like you said, he's no longer a wrestler anymore. That wrestling pedigree doesn't mean shit anymore at 38 years old because you haven't trained it in the last 10 years. It's gone. Like you struggle to stop takedowns. You got taken down by a jiu-jitsu guy, not once, not twice, but multiple times. And they were highlight reel takedowns, lift, scoop, slams, it all. I mean, there's no wrestling. It's gone. Paddy Pimblett is younger, more explosive, I think now too. I'm saying Michael Chandler is not the explosive fighter that he used to be. And on top of that, you see his punches coming from a mile away because he's loading up. That's one. Two is because he's so loopy with them now. There was moments when he was with Bellator, he threw straight punches.
Yeah, absolutely.
His fight with Patricky Pitbull, that was a straight right hand down the pipe that sent him just starched. And we don't see that anymore. He is literally just lunging in, throwing big shots, trying to get you out of there every single time. Off balance. It's either go for broke or nothing. And he's changed. I wouldn't say he's changed it too much. He was wild and reckless in Bellator. But in this situation, he's put too many miles on his car right now in the last 4 fights. He's rammed it into the wall too many times. And I think Paddy Pimblett's just here to pick up the pieces and just finally just send him to the body shop and say, look, dude, it's over. We're going to send you to the junkyard. It's done. Okay, let's go ahead and just crunch you all together in a box and just send you farewell. Okay, go back to the rebuilding phase. In terms of what I mean by rebuilding is call it rebuild your life because it's not in fighting anymore. That's exactly where this is going. I think Paddy, I don't know if Paddy's going to be able to submit him because Michael Chandler still has that in him to stop submissions. We saw it with Charles. Charles couldn't finish him. I know Dustin Poirier, I believe, finished him with the rear naked, correct?
Yeah, he did.
But Charles couldn't finish him this last fight. And Chandler's still very tough to finish. It's that short, compact, no neck. What are you going to choke kind of thing? Paddy might be able to get something out of it. He might be able to finish maybe a triangle. I think it's going to be very hard. Chandler's very tough in that position. Good posture, no real neck, no real, everything's just kind of clumped together. What are you choking if there's nothing there? So there's never been any doubt whether he comes in shape, whether he comes ready to fight. But what I saw in the last Charles Oliveira fight was a person who was comfortable with just letting the rounds slip away. Oh, you're on my back. I'm good. That was not the Michael Chandler that we saw before. He worked super hard to get out of every shitty position. He fought tooth and nail. He didn't do it in that fight. And then I know people are going to say, oh, well, Charles Oliveira is a different level of grappler. I understand he's a different level of grappler. But that fight, didn't matter to Chandler when he was with Bellator in the last 10 years that I've seen him fight. That fight, that issue didn't matter with him his first couple fights in the UFC. He would fight through anything.
Yeah, take a look at his first fight against Charles. He was able to turn inside of the figure four, and break that fight open when he was starting to lose in the first round. Broke it open and actually took the round, because that was the way he was. He would not settle for the positions. Now, I'm seeing the same thing. He's settling for things, and part of that is, it's age. You get to that point. It's like I'll be okay here. As long as I don't let him finish me, I'm going to be okay. And you're right. You're going to be okay, but you're losing.
That is not the mentality of the Michael Chandler that we saw fight for years and also saw come into the UFC. We've seen it from fighters that have left the UFC and went to Bellator as well. They don't have that same sense of like, I've got to work harder. And it really does come down to age. They are mentally checked out. Michael Chandler is mentally checked out. Paddy Pimblett is just here to pick up all the scraps and send him to the junkyard. Send him shipping. Yeah. He's gone. It's done. And I know maybe people are like, oh, well, you don't like him. And you're right. I don't like him.
First off, I do like him.
And John likes him. Yeah. John can like him all he wants. John and I are not friends because of this. But bottom line is that it doesn't matter how I feel. You can see it in his performances. He's checked out. The Conor McGregor thing, I think, really crushed him. Like, he was really holding on and thinking that fight was going to happen. He would be able to, basically write his own ticket. You have this expectation. I'm going to fight this guy. I'm going to beat this guy, and mentally preparing for that. And then just deflate gate, basically fucking Tom Brady right there. Just deflate gate all over. Just felt that sense of like, man, this shit's, what am I like? I wasted 2 years and no pay. And what am I doing? And then I fight Charles and I lose, and there's just nothing. Like, it just all went out the door. John, it's deflating for him, man. And I think mentally he's checked out. Like, it's something to talk about. It really is. And I think that Paddy Pillman's going to be there to pick it all up. And he's going to ride on the coattails of this. He's going to win, and he's going to just take off, and it's going to catapult him into that conversation of, okay, look, I'm maybe one fight away. Paddy Pillman's one fight away from fighting for a title. And there'd be no other person the UFC would love to see in that conversation.
Absolutely.
So
he's got the personality for it. He's a guy that, you either love him or hate him. So he's an interesting individual, but I do think he's going to be a handful for Michael Chandler in this fight.
Speaking of loving and hate, you either love him or you hate him. It's Bryce Mitchell or against John Silva.
Man, this is why I like Bryce Mitchell. I really do. I think he's a kind, nice young man who just, everybody just
says dumb shit.
Thank you. Just says fucking just dumbass off the wall bullshit that you look and you go, what? And throw all that to the side. The guy's tough. He's a tough individual. He's a damn good. He's one of these guys that you look at. He hasn't been, trained by the greatest, jiu-jitsu stylist. He's got his own style, and he's damn good with it. He sets things up well. He's got great transitions that are his. The way that he'll take certain positions, the way that he'll take and use a sweep or an elevation to get an arm in a certain way. He does some slick stuff. He is a talented person. He's just a person that is absolutely, I don't know how to say it. He's that person. You either love him or you hate him, and Jean Silva asked for this fight. Jean Silva has been on a freaking hot streak. It's a great fight. But he can lose it. Jean Silva could lose this fight. On the feet, I think Jean Silva definitely has the advantage. No doubt about it. On the ground, he does not have an advantage. And he can, if he believes he does, that could be his downfall in this fight. Bryce Mitchell is absolutely world class as far as MMA jiu-jitsu. He is that good with it.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, like, if you go back and you take a look at some of the guys that Bryce Mitchell's fought, Dan Igue's got great stand-up. Edson Barboza, fantastic stand-up. Yeah. Andre Fili, good boxing. along with his boxing as well. You got guys in there. Charles
He
Rose
didn't fight on. Oh, I'm sorry.
Andre Fili.
I was thinking of Fiallo. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah. Touchy feely. Got it.
I mean, like there's guys that he's fought that have, really good stand-up.
Yeah.
Now, Jean Silva is obviously new, undefeated, riding like confidence level super high. That whole nerd group, out of the nerd gym or whatever it is.
Fight nerds.
Fight nerds. I mean, they're all undefeated in the UFC and they're all spectacular. They're all entertaining. They all come out and they fucking put on a show. There's nothing wrong with that. I truly enjoy watching them fight. Yeah. This is one of those fights, though, if I would agree with you. If Jean Silva does not take him seriously and he gets taken down, it could be over.
Yeah.
Now, I think that Jean Silva's jiu-jitsu is better than Edson Barboza's.
I agree.
But the thing is it on Bryce Mitchell's level? But it doesn't have to be equal to Bryce Mitchell's. He's just got to be able to nullify his grappling. He's got to be able to stymie. He's got to be able to just basically shut it down so he doesn't get the submission right out the round and make Bryce Mitchell fight even harder in the second and third round to get the takedowns.
Yeah.
Now, I think the movement of Jean Silva is going to be tough. If I went back and watched the Ilia Topuria fight with Bryce Mitchell had his moments in that fight.
Oh, yeah.
He landed some good shots, too. It's horrible boxing. His stand-up is trash. Yeah. But look, he also, when he threw with conviction, he landed. And so he's not afraid to take a shot. That's what's great about him is he's not afraid to take a shot as he's trying to get his takedowns.
No, the only fight that he got smoked in was the Josh Emmett fight.
Yeah.
And that was, it wasn't that long into the fight and he just got hit with a fucking cannon shot and that happens. But the guy's got real skill. He's 8-2 in the UFC. He's just 17-2 overall. He's good. And for some reason, he doesn't get the credit for being a good fighter because it's not only technically skilled, especially on the ground, but he's got a nasty streak to him. The whole thug nasty, he's got a nasty streak to him. Yeah.
I think what it is, John, fighters that are pretty much one-dimensional, though, they'll never really get the love they deserve. Guys like MVP will get a little bit of it because they're just unique. Stephen Thompson, just because they're unique to that level. Machida, unique. Like on the stand-up, they're unique to that. Like it's something different than what we've seen before. Outside of that, if you're just a normal, good stand-up fighter, you're still not going to get the love. You're one-dimensional. You're a one-dimensional kickboxer. Poatan, he gets all the love because he knocks dudes out. That's one. But he doesn't have great grappling. He's one-dimensional. He's a stand-up guy. We just saw that. He's a stand-up guy. But he knocks dudes out. That's one. And two is that he's very unique in the fact that he fights every couple weeks.
He's busy.
Which is crazy. Which is awesome for us as fans that are fans of his.
It's true.
I think Jean Silva is everything that Bryce Mitchell should be afraid of. His movement, his speed, his aggressiveness, the way he mixes up the spinning attacks. That could be to his detriment, though, the spinning attacks. But that being said,
a good takedown.
It's a lot harder for the guy who's trying to get the takedown who you keep guessing. Yeah. If I'm push kicking you up the middle, side kicking, spinning back kicks, and then throwing the basic combinations, head kick, then body kick, it makes it so difficult to keep up if you're trying to get a takedown. You don't want to get knocked out with the flying knee on the way in. The one time you try to shoot the takedown, that guy throws the flying knee. So Jean Silva mixes it up so well. It's going to be a very tough fight in that first round when Jean Silva's so fresh. But if Bryce Mitchell's able to get the first takedown in the first round and then be able to hold him down and grind him out, which I think is going to be harder than most people think, then I think it'll start to lean towards Bryce Mitchell's way. But I think Jean Silva is going to probably end up, I don't want to say highlight reel, but it's going to be one of those fights where he puts on his skills and display his skills at a very high level. Jean.
Look, if this fight stays on the feet, there's little doubt who's going to win it. Little doubt. It should be Jean Silva. It's a matter of, does he make the mistake of overextending on one of those attacks, a spinning attack, a kick that he gets caught, and he ends up on the ground? Bryce Mitchell, in that position, he definitely has the skill sets to win the fight.
The other thing I've noticed, though, with Bryce Mitchell is that in the Ilia Topuria fight, when you put pressure on him, you make him fight an uncomfortable fight, and he struggles to get takedowns, he tends to slow down and get gassed. He's not the same. Like, he lost position against Ilia Topuria. He had good position. He fell off the back and lost position. Yeah. Ended up on bottom. and that put him in a position to end up losing the fight by arm triangle, I believe. And it's just that let me know that if Jean Silva can make him frustrated and can make him fight like at a rapid pace in the first round and be comfortable on the feet and avoid those takedowns, you may see Bryce Mitchell get tired. Like you said, John, he kind of has his own routine. He hasn't really trained at a very big camp. He's not training with iron sharp irons type people, right? No. And so that means as he gets pushed, is his cardio enough in the second and third round to deal with someone like Jean Silva, who is training with some of the top guys that are in the UFC? So that I have questions there as well.
Yeah, totally understand why, but it's a matter of, you can go back and look at, when you talk about, everything's about a comfort, and you know that, when you're comfortable in a certain area, it's easy for you to work, past the rounds that you even have for the fight. It's when you're uncomfortable in that area, you get exhausted. No matter what you want to call it, that fear or the anxiety or whatever it is, you can go back and watch Bryce Mitchell when he fought Charles Rosa. Go back and look at the grappling that took place in that. Look at all of the movement. Look at all these things that tire somebody out. Dude, he was not breathing hard at all because he was in control. He was the one that was leading the dance. And when you're leading the dance and you're comfortable with where you're at, it's a whole lot different story. But that's what John Silva needs to do. Make him uncomfortable. Be the guy that's in charge of that dance, make him uncomfortable, and make him feel that panic of having to be on the feet with someone that's picking him apart.
Yair Rodríguez is welcoming Patricio Pitbull to the UFC. His first fight in, top 5 guy.
Yep.
Tough fight, man. This is, if I could pick anybody, John, though, for Patricio to fight coming in the UFC, Yair would have been the last guy. He would have been the last guy.
Yeah. See, I look at it and it's, Patricio is a guy who likes to control the fight, and he's very, you can take a look at Henry Cejudo's style. He got his style from Patricio Pitbull, and that, you see that hand forward and just monitoring the offense that's coming his way, and then sitting back on it, just getting that little bit of a step back, letting it just slide by or miss, and then coming with your counter. Patricio is a master at doing that. And he's a master at hitting a big right hand that he's very good with. His grappling wise, he's the better grappler than Yair, but he's not going to use it. I'm just being honest. He's going to try to get into a fist fight with Yair. And the real problem that you look at, Patricio will use kicks and things like that, but not at the style and rate that a Yair Rodríguez is going to use them. Yair is going to look a lot flashier in this fight than Patricio. Patricio is going to look like the guy that's the stand-up basics and, try to land the big, overhand right or the left hook, which he's very good with. He's going to try to get into a position where, Yair puts his head down, he'll grab the arm in guillotine, and that's a go-to move for him, and he's outstanding with it. He'll know if he has it. If he jumps it, he knows he has it. He's not that guy that is just going to jump the gilly. He knows when he's jumping it, I got you. But, Yair presents so many problems because he's dynamic in so many ways. And it's the length of Yair with the speed that I think creates the true problem for Patricio. If he's able to utilize that length and the speed that he has and use that good, footwork that he has and movement, he's going to create a lot of problems because Patricio is going to end up chasing him a lot throughout this and coming up empty a lot of the time.
Yeah, Patricio is someone who loves to fight.
Yeah.
He's going to bring the fight no matter what. He's the opposite of what Michael Chandler has become. That's exactly the way to explain this. Patricio Pitbull he'll be 50-something years old, chasing the guy who's 205 pounds, saying, "Hey, you talking shit to me? I'm going to fuck you up." Like if every time he doesn't have an answer for something, it's always "fuck you."
Fuck you.
That's it. It's "fuck you."
So it's one of his favorite words.
Yeah. Basically, like when someone talks shit to him and he doesn't know what to say and it catches him off guard, or he can't put the words together in English, it's always "fuck you." It's just the best thing to say, and it comes to his mind and it comes out of his mouth. And so
he's awesome though.
Bottom line is, man, he loves to fight.
He is. But the one thing, he does say fuck you a lot. He's one of the most gracious and kind
Absolutely.
people. He's a great father. He loves the sport of MMA. He wants to represent not only Brazil, but now he wants to represent the UFC. You know, he did a great job for Bellator. You couldn't ask for a better person to be that guy that kind of held everything together than Patricio was.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, there was talk that some of the, like Mick Maynard and Hunter Campbell, they're like, you know what, let's, probably give him a shot. They can basically came down to the deciding factor is Dana had to talk to him.
Yeah.
He's like, and then what was the deciding factor? He's like,
as soon as he talked to him.
As soon as I talked to him.
Yeah. I want him. Yeah.
And that's why people fall in love with him. The guy, think about what was at stake. Him being the 145-pound champ of Bellator, him going up to fight Michael Chandler at 145 pounds or 155 pounds. There was no reason to do that. And Chandler was considered to be like, the beast at the time, knocking everybody out, just dispensing of everyone. And Patricio goes, you know what? Because you fought my brother, and because you talk shit, because you beat my brother, I'm going to come up and I'm going to fight you. And I remember that whole conversation of, oh, you're next. And Chandler laughing at him in his face and this and that over the fence and all this. And Patricio's like, you know what? I'm going to get you. And sure enough, when they fought, he fucking did get him. Oh, yeah. Starched him quick, put him out. Just, it was epic to see. For us to be in the arena and to see the whole thing happen, I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. This is one of those things that there was so much lead up to that fight. All the trash talk, all the face-to-face, all that stuff. And Patricio came in and delivered. Now, I know he's a different fighter now in terms of that he's 38. So the things that scare me about the Yair Rodriguez fight is a couple things. Is the calf kicks, because he has that Henry Cejudo style stance, which Henry got from him, like you said. But he's got that wider stance. And the calf kick came along after Conor started using the wide stance. Patricio started using the wide stance. The calf kicks came after that.
Yeah.
So now the success of that wide stance with the hand out front, keeping the range and the distance, has kind of fallen away because the calf kick's so prevalent now inside the sport. That's one. Two is the height. At any moment, Yair can throw that head kick and it could be lights out.
And he's not having to throw it that high.
Yeah, he doesn't have to throw it very high. Patricio's not a big guy. He's thick, sure. He's thick, but he's got some power in his hands. But as we saw when he fought Sergio Pettis, he has slowed down a little bit. Now, I know Sergio's faster because he is the smaller, lighter guy. And Patricio went down in weight to fight that fight at 135. That being said, I think the speed's going to probably end up going to Yair. Definitely the reach is, no doubt about that. And I would agree with you 100% that Patricio Pitbull, he will not jump that gilly unless he knows it's for really. Yeah. So that's really what it comes down to. He believes that if I'm going to get it, he'll jump it. And I've only seen one guy actually get out of it every time he's jumped it. He's been on track with it. So he believes in his guillotine. I've felt that guillotine training and grappling with him. The guy's a beast. He's really good from the bottom with his elevator sweep. He's good at coming up on like a double leg / body lock and getting back to his feet. He's phenomenal, man. He's phenomenal. So, but the speed, the reach of Yair, they didn't do him any favors when they picked this fight. Let me just tell you. But I'm excited for him. I'm hoping that he gets the win. He's got the power in his hands. If he can follow a little bit of what Volkanovski did, then I think that he gets it done. If Patricio can do a little bit of what Volkanovski did, I would say not even as much of what Volk did. He's got to, threaten the big strikes, fight him inside a phone booth. Oh, do you remember, John? I know you remember this because you have that steel trap of a brain. It's slipping a little bit these days, but it's still there. Is when Fedor fought Mirko.
Oh, yeah.
Don't allow him to get the kicks off. Don't allow him to get that head. I don't care how flexible you are. Don't allow him to get those off. Push him. Walk him down. Throw big shots. Let him know that you're there. And if you do that, I think Yair will start to fold. We've seen him in the past. Yair has a tendency sometimes to fold under pressure.
Well, if there's one type of fighter that gives Yair problems, it's the one that can put him on his back foot.
Yeah.
It's the one that can force him back and create that pressure that doesn't give him the distance that he feels comfortable with.
Agree, 100%. John, you've got Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes.
I think that's a great fight. I'm being honest. I'm actually really looking forward to that fight. Nikita's, man, he's one of those guys. He's got really good stand up, and he's got a decent ground game. And it's just sometimes he doesn't show up. I don't know what it is. There's those times in his career where I can look and I go, man, he looked fantastic in that fight. He looked so good.
Mhm.
Look at the way he just, controlled things. And then he's got fights where he just like zones out.
Yeah.
His fight against Paul Craig, he got triangle choked. And it's like, what are you doing? Why are you going to the ground with him? Where is it that you think you can win this fight? On the ground or in the stand-up? And right away goes to the ground with him. It's like gone. He had actually a good performance against Ankalaev for most of it. He's fought some really good people. He's got some losses to people that have great names. Like Blachowicz, but like Glover Teixeira and stuff. When he decides to fight, man, he can really fight. I think Dominic Reyes is in that position. He's starting to really come up now. He had a big time setback with the John Jones fight, and then everything just spun out of control. He lost to Jan, then he lost to Yuri badly with the spinning elbow, and then even Ryan Spann got him. But he's worked himself back. Couple of fights in now. He's got a couple of wins. That's helping his confidence. And if he can keep this thing at range, because he's the longer fighter, no doubt about it, and just utilize the stand-up that he has, he's a good athlete. He's a very good athlete. And I think this is a fight that he is absolutely good enough to win. It really is dependent on how hard it will be, depends on which Krylov shows up.
I don't think Krylov has a chance. He's got a puncher's chance, and that's it. I think Dominic Reyes right now, his confidence is a lot better now after his Jacoby fight and his Anthony Smith win. Yeah. Those two wins right there, I think put him in a position to be like, look, and
those were both finishes, so that's huge.
And it's like, hey, I'm ready to make a run. Yeah. I'm ready. I've got, and if I'm Reyes, I'm going, look at who my losses are. I have 4 losses. They're to John Jones, Jan Blachowicz, Yuri Prochaska, and Ryan Spann. Yeah. Like, I'm sure. And look, Ryan Spann can knock anybody the fuck out.
Ryan Spann's big.
Yeah, he's big. He's got power for about 1 round.
Yeah.
Okay. And unfortunately, that happened.
I think that's what happened to him. Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. So I don't hold it against him. Then he got his 2 wins and both finishes. I think his confidence is there. You only need 2 wins to get your confidence back on track. And I think Krylov's in a lot of trouble, man. I think that Dominic Reyes is going to make this run.
You can take a look and, okay, let's be honest. Who was Krylov's last win against? Ryan
I don't know.
Spann.
I don't pay attention to Krylov.
Ryan Spann, right? So, he submitted Ryan Spann, but he also got a win against Alexander Gustafsson. He got a win against Ozdemir. So he's fought some good talent and got wins in his last 3 fights. So he's feeling pretty comfortable going in. He's feeling fairly confident. I agree with you. I think if Dominic fights the right fight, it's his fight to lose.
Yeah, Dom's just fought the higher level of competition. John Jones, it doesn't get any higher than that. And let's say, and I know that was a while back.
Yeah.
John, it doesn't matter. It's still in your mind. Look, I can compete with these guys. And and he's not old.
Hold on. But you got to say that Krylov has fought against Ankalaev. Mm-hmm. He's fought against Glover Teixeira. He's fought against OSP.
A 40-something-year-old Glover. You're going to compare that to John Jones? Come on, John. Let's try to keep it even.
First off, it was a while ago that he fought Glover. So
okay,
Glover
so
was
he was
not
39.
40. Okay, there you go. 38 maybe. He's fought good competition. He has.
I'm not saying he has, but like John, let's be honest. I mean, you're fighting, like he's fought John Jones. He fought Yuri. He fought Jan. Those guys are still in the top. Those 3 are still in the top 4 or 5 in their weight classes. 1 being a champ, the other 2 being ranked number 2 and number 4 or something right now. So I mean, those guys are still around, and he's fought those guys. Sure, he lost to them, but
I agree with you.
Yeah, I look at Dom and I think, man, I think he's ready to make that run. I think he has a good chance of making a legit run at the 205-pound title.
Yeah.
So Dan Ige versus Sean Woodson.
Oh man, this is a stylistic nightmare right here. You take a look at this and, Dan Ige, first off, we both love Dan Ige. He's just a great individual, tough as hell. He has got to get inside of the length of Sean Woodson. Dan Ige's how tall? 5'7"?
No, yeah. Maybe 5'8".
Okay, you're going to give him that inch.
I will.
Woodson is
what
at
boys
least
do for each other, man.
Woodson's 6'3", right? Woodson does not have the ground game to stay with Dan Ige. That's one thing that is absolutely, clear in this fight. But his stand up is awkward, and it's good. He's not super fast, but he lands beautiful body shots, and he keeps people on the outside. And Dan's got to figure out ways to either be all the way out or all the way in on him. And when he can, push him up against the cage, just dirty box him, beat him up, get him to the ground. And that's where Dan Ige definitely has the advantage in the fight. The question is, can he get it there?
I think he can. I think
he can too.
With Dan Ige, I think he's going to press him to the fence. He's going to get the takedown, and he's going to maul him. I don't think that Sean Woodson has anything for him on the ground. Now, I know it's going to be probably tough to get inside there, but let's not pretend like on the outside, Dan Ige can kick the calf, which is so shocking to me, John, that so many more people don't do that to Sean Woodson. I'd be throwing reckless.
Because it looks like a chopstick. It's that he's that thin in his legs and stuff. So
I'd be going to the calf kick, and I wouldn't care. Like if I got knocked down, like if I got pushed over, if I kicked and I got knocked down off the balance, I'd be like, all right, come on down here. I'll get back up to my feet. If not, I'm gonna come back up to my feet, and I'll just keep kicking your calf. By round 2, you will not be the same fighter. And I'm surprised that more fighters haven't done that, because it's not like Sean Woodson. He's not bad. He's just not great on the ground. And I've grappled with Dan Ige. I felt his strength inside the clinch. I mean, he's had success against guys against the fence, clinching them up. And there's no submission threat for Dan to push him to the fence and dirty box him, like you were saying. Give him that Randy Couture type style dirty boxing, and then work for the body lock or inside the crotch in the lift in the pool or whatever it is. You got to find ways to get him down. But I think he will be able to get him down. I think Dan will be able to control the top position. Either way, I think Dan wins this fight, though. But I think it's going to be a fun fight. Like you said, stylistically, it reminds me of like an old throwback UFC 1 fight, right? You got the big fat sumo guy versus the tall, skinny Gerard Godot, whatever. You know what I mean? Like you've got like that type of stuff. You got Hoist Gracie, and
you just went all the way back to the very first fight.
There you go. Like I said,
you got to think
the way back.
Woodson's got one loss in his career, and that one loss was due to a darce choke. He is submittable.
Oh, absolutely.
And so that's
Xiaonan versus Verna Jandiroba.
That's a great fight. And I really like Verna. She's a phenomenal submission stylist, great grappler. I think that right now, Xiaonan is just head and shoulders above most of the people in that division. She has found her way. Team Alpha Male has done an incredible job getting her to change some of the things that she did and how she did it. And she is so in control of the fight at this point in her career. There's very few people that can stay with her. Now, obviously, Jandiroba can stay with her on the ground, but she's going to have a hard time getting it to the ground, and she's going to take a lot of abuse because her stand-up is just not that clean. It's going to take a lot out of her to get the fight there. I look at this as a fight for Young.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about this fight, but I'm going to talk about it in the BetUSTV.com segment of this right after we break down the rest of this card. We're going to go right into that BetUSTV.com segment. But yeah, there's lots to say about that fight. It is a fun fight, a stylistic nightmare for Verna Jandiroba. But you know what, John? Another stylistic nightmare is Jim Miller and Chase Hooper. It's very much like the Dan Ige Sean Woodson fight.
Oh, this one hurts my soul.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
It
does.
Stop it.
It's horrible.
What's horrible about it?
Okay, what's horrible about it? When Chase Hooper first came into the UFC, one of the things that I said about him is, look, this kid is not ready for the UFC. And when I say not ready, it's not his skill-wise. He's not ready. He's not physically ready.
He wasn't ready skill-wise either, by the way.
Well, his grappling, he was. His grappling was that good.
I get it, John. You're being nice.
His stand-up was definitely not at that point. But, even at this point, I mean, there's a 16-year difference in age? 25 to 41, 42.
Are you counting out the veteran? Is that what you're doing?
I'm not counting out the veteran. What I'm saying is
you
just shut your pie hole right now.
Put some respect on Jim Miller's name. I'm going to cut this clip and send it right to Jim Miller.
You're going to cut this clip. I love Jim Miller. But, Jim is in a position where he can win this fight. but he's going to win it on the feet. But Chase Hooper has gotten much better on his feet. And so he is someone that, he doesn't have that, stinging power, but he's gotten better at putting his shots on target, which is only helping him in all of his fights. He's looked really good in his last bit here. He had the fight with Clay Guida where he just basically dominated the fight. Clay wasn't in it. He gets the win off of the armbar. But if you're going to go after a fight that you got to look and say, hey, that's impressive. He had the fight against Borashov, who is from Team Alpha Male. And, Vladdy Claus he's that guy that he's tough. And Hooper was able to put up with the stand-up, get it to the ground, get the Darce choke. He's that competitive on the ground in the world of MMA with everyone. He's that good. He's got long limbs. He's able to lock up anaconda chokes, Darce chokes easily. He transitions from the arm to the triangle, back to the arm bar all the time. He just sets things up really well. So I look at this and, on the feet, the Jim Miller that we've been seeing as far as he's aggressive and he's going after people and he's stalking people down and he's walking them down, he needs to do that again to Chase Hooper. Make it where it's uncomfortable. Make it a nasty, just snot flying out of your nose type of fight where this kid is trying to get space and he can't get it. That's how Jim Miller wins this fight. If he can't do that and Jim Miller is hanging back, there's going to come a point where the fight hits the ground, and Jim's a fantastic grappler, but this kid is too good right now. He's that comfortable on the ground. He's not going to get tired, and youth beats age, and when the skill sets are close to that. So
yeah, we're going to find out. That's why we fight the fight. We're going to find out. Hey, that's going to wrap up our fight card talk for UFC 314. But
there's some great fights on this card. Overall.
There is. I was actually surprised how stacked it was.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good fights on this card. The Darren Elkins and Julian Erosa fight should just be a fun fight. Darren Elkins is always fun to watch fight.
Same with Julian.
I'm looking forward to watching these fights happen. But like I was saying, we're going to go ahead and jump right into a segment that we'll be doing for BetUSTV.com. And we're just basically going to give you guys our breakdown on who we think you guys, if you guys are looking to place bets, not saying where, but BetUSTV.com has a good area for you. If you guys want, check it all out. There's sports. There's other sports available on there. March Madness just wrapped up, so make sure you guys check them out.
Florida Gators.
Let's go. Oh, God, it killed me, man. Houston had it. Houston had a run of bad luck.
Hold on. You got it from the point where you had your team, Texas Tech, losing that lead to them.
Yeah,
that was what I said. It's almost like they're almost predetermined, predestined to get there. And same thing with Houston. They had him.
Yeah, they had him.
They were 12 points,
something like that. It was horrible, John. It was
In
horrible
the end,
to watch.
did.
I felt bad for Houston.
Come on, the last thing when they had the chance, they're down by 2, and the guy throws the ball, and I was like, "Oh, he's screwed. He can't touch it."
No,
and he was. I was like, "Oh man, I feel so bad for him."
I don't give a shit if you got to shoot a 3 from fucking outside where Curry shoot it from. Shoot it.
You can't. If you don't shoot it, you're never gonna fucking make it.
Like you had this imaginary 3-point line that you felt like you had to get to shoot the ball, brother. You've been playing basketball since you were fucking barely walking. Like shoot the damn 3 already.
Shoot the rock.
Blew me. Like you have less than 1 second left or 2 seconds left. Like just shoot the rock, man. Ah, man. It just not getting a shot off is the worst way to lose. It's like standing there at the bottom of the ninth, 3 strikes, fucking not taking. You're in the World Series, Game 7, and not swinging at the pitch.
Yeah,
fuck, go down swinging, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh,
Michael Jordan always said, man,
it's like watching Michael Chandler fight Charles Oliveira the last fight. Fucking try and get out of the back, please. All right, hey, let's go ahead and go into Diego Lopes. Diego Lopes is a plus 114. The odds have actually. Wait, let me refresh this because I want to make sure we're getting you guys the freshest odds on the business. Oh, and they actually just changed. Diego Lopes is a plus 105. Alexander Volkanovski is a minus 125. John, I've said this. We've said it all week. We talked about this on the weekend show. I'm taking Diego Lopes at plus 105. I'm taking that. I actually already took it when it was plus 122. I'm taking it again at plus 105 because I know what people are going to do, man. I know they're going to put more money down on him as this thing gets closer. I'm going to lose that odds. It's going to end up being even money.
You already got it at plus 122. What are you going to go 105 for?
Because I know I want to do more. Because now that I've actually started thinking about it and I've started listening to other people's podcasts and getting their breakdowns, John, I'm easily influenced.
Yes, you are.
I'm that guy. When you start telling me that you believe someone's going to win, I start believing you too. Because people are so good at just convincing me. I mean, like, I'm a schmuck that way. I really believe that this is Diego's time. And this is no knock to Volk. Volk's had an amazing career. He's not done by any means. Like you said, there's guys that get to the top. They sustain it for so long. They may never win another title now after that. Max Holloway may never win another title after this. Volkanovski may never win another title. We never thought it'd be the end of Max Holloway when he lost to Volk. And then we saw the repeat. Then we saw the fight again. And guess what? Volkanovski was still the champion. So I look at this fight and I think to myself, Volk right now is in a worse position than what Max was. Max lost close fights to Volkanovski.
Yeah.
Volk has lost by 2 knockouts, vicious knockouts.
Everything it's so imperative when you look at a fighter and you look at their record and you see where those losses are, and then you see how those losses occurred. There's a huge difference from one loss to the next. And you got to look and understand, he was knocked out. And, the brain can only take so much trauma before it starts to break down, and its ability to what never hurt it before now hurts it right away.
Yeah.
And it's a tough thing to be in. It's the life of a fighter is not easy. You can go back, let's be honest, Chuck Liddell was always, one of the fan favorite fighters, just a phenomenal guy. And I can tell you, the first time I ever watched Chuck fight was in a kickboxing match. Mm-hmm. And I was like, dude, this guy can take a shot. This guy can take a shot, and then I watched him. He comes to the UFC. It was UFC 17. And he fights a guy named Noe Hernandez that is just known for having heavy hands, and he's a great boxer. And they stood there and slung leather, and man, Chuck took shots that would have knocked a freight train over, and he got the win. And you look and you go, his career was just that. He was able to actually utilize the fact that his chin was so good he could take shots to deliver his, and his were, going to get him the win until that point. That one point, and that was at UFC 71 when Quentin clipped him and hurt him, was never the same. And it only went downhill from there at that point. And that's all it takes. Just that one, and he's had 2 in a row. That's trouble.
Yeah, I mean, you could say the same thing about Vanderlei Silva.
Yeah.
Same thing. Vanderlei made a career off of just walking through, fucking just eating people's punches and delivering big knockout blows himself. Fedor didn't take a lot of shots. I take that back. He wasn't.
Fedor was never that guy that took big, heavy shots. He'd get wobbled. But, you're right. Vanderlei was a guy, but you can go back and look and you go, okay, here's where it started. Yeah. And it was in Pride. Take a look at the last fight that he had in Pride was against Dan Henderson. Mm-hmm. That was a huge knockout. He came to the UFC. He had a great performance against Chuck. He lost it, but everything was different.
I would agree. John, you also got Paddy Pimblett at a minus 145, Michael Chandler at a plus 122. I'm putting my money down. Obviously, we talked about this a second ago is on Paddy the Batty, baby. I'm putting my money down on Paddy the Batty. I don't feel there's any energy right now left. It's Deflategate all over again for Michael Chandler. He's deflated. There's no more left in him. It's over.
Well, there was a tweet that went out by Michael Chandler where someone said something about, hey, man, should I bet the house on you against Paddy? And he said, no. And it's like one of those, it's like, I understand. Yeah, hey, what he's saying is, no, don't ever bet your house, on a fight. That's stupid.
That's not how I read it, John.
Yeah, I know. And that's my point is I know that's, if someone was going to ask him, he's going to say, no one should bet their house. But first off, you don't know that person. He's damn right I'm going to win. Yeah, bet your house. That's the mentality of a person that's going out believing that they're going to win the fight. And you don't see there's little telling things that happen, especially in fight week. that you can look at and you can see, oh, yep, there's a difference in the two. And just that little tweet right there, it says a lot. It really does. You know, it's not Michael Chandler. Again, he has been a phenomenal fighter. He's had a phenomenal career. He's been in some of the most epic fights, you know, and those going back into Bellator with Eddie Alvarez, the ones that he had there were unbelievable. The fights that he's had in the UFC have been unbelievable, but you can only have so many of those before your car is broken. And at this point, I think his car is broken.
Yeah, he's wrecked the Ferrari too many times, man.
Yeah.
You know, the Porsche's wrecked. It's now VW. That's really what it's come down to. You know, and I mean, look, over is -1.5. Over is 1.5, -175. The under is 1.5 at +146. I think it's going to go over. I think that Paddy's going to have a hard time getting him out of there. If he does get him out of there, it'll be by knockout. It will not be by submission. I think that Chandler is still very difficult to submit. And I've said this repeatedly, like he's only got the one submission against him, and that was done by Dustin Poirier, and I was able to catch him. Outside of that, I mean, he's one of those guys that will fight to the bitter end when it comes to submission attacks. He finds ways to get out of it. It's very difficult to get your arms under his chin. Very difficult. He's really good at, you know, fighting out of those. John Fitch-esque, I would say. He's very much like that. I just look at where he's at right now in his career. It's not there anymore. You know, the 1 foot out, the falling out of the Conor McGregor fight, it deflates you. It really does kill your momentum and what you feel like you were building. When you lose a fight like that, you were offered that fight. Like, I got to be honest, it's very reminiscent of me being offered the Pettis fight, taking the fight away, and then turning around and fighting Benson and losing that fight and realizing, okay, look, I'm 38 years old or 37 years old, about to be 38. I'm never getting that title shot again. It's very deflating. Done. Like his title fight was Conor McGregor. His red panty night was Conor McGregor. It never happened.
Hold on. Did we not say that fight ain't never going to happen?
No, I agree. We said that, but I'm simply saying he waited as if that was his title fight night.
Well, it was.
That was his night. That was his title fight. That was his UFC title, was the Conor McGregor fight. He didn't look at a title anymore. He looked at Conor McGregor as it was his red panty night.
Yeah. And
it didn't happen. And then he turned around and fought Charles again and lost that fight. And so it's that mentality has switched now. There's nowhere else to go. Doesn't know what to do. Beating Paddy doesn't really do much for him. It puts him back on the winning track. Yeah. But losing to Paddy puts him way back. Yeah. Way back.
He's out of the top 10.
Yeah, he's out of. I think he is out of the top. I don't know if they'll drop him that much. I don't know if they will. They do like him. The UFC does like him.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt they like him.
Yeah, and look, I'm taking Paddy at -145. You got Jean Silva versus Bryce Mitchell. Jean Silva is a -250. Bryce Mitchell is a +206. I think this is a pretty fair bet. Like, if I was looking at these and I'm saying, like, these odds right here, it just shows like, hey, I think that it's too rich for me on the Jean Silva, because Bryce could get him down. It could get the submission. And I haven't seen a big enough sample size of Jean Silva on the ground. Yeah, I'm probably avoiding that.
I agree with you. That's one of those. If I was going to put money, it would be very little on Bryce Mitchell, because I'm going to go with the fact that he could submit him, he could get him, but will he? I honestly, I don't. I doubt it.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, the over on it though is 2.5 at +135, so they don't believe it's going to go the distance. Either Jean Silva is going to finish him, or Bryce Mitchell's going to finish him, because under 160 is the under 2.5. Yeah. So Dominic Reyes is the dog, John. Is the dog at +154, and Krylov is a -185.
So there you go. There's your fight. I said Krylov, dude, he's fought great competition.
What does that have to do with me?
You're sitting there going fucking crazy about Dom.
I'm talking about.
You're talking nothing.
I'm telling you right now what I think is king. And right now, +154, I'm snatching that up and I'm taking that all the way to the bank, baby. I'm taking that. There's no way Dominic Reyes is, first off, he's a problem for everyone because of his height, his reach. He's also very aggressive. He's a skillful fighter, very tough to take down. Not that Krylov, I think, would try to take him down. I just think that in this position, Dominic Reyes is fought the who's who. He's come up short on those guys against John Jones, But he also understands that a couple of wins. Now my confidence is there. I'm going to get this one back. I'm going to take Dominic Reyes at plus 154 for sure.
Okay. I understand. It's a good call.
Patricio Pitbull is a plus 162. Yair Rodríguez is a minus 195.
I would take that one just off of pure
Homerism.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah. Pure homer. I'll go with Pitbull.
I look, first off, I don't bet on my friends. You guys all know that. If you guys listen to our pod, you know I do not bet on my friends. I've trained with Patricio. I fought his brother. They've been to my gym several times to train. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Even if look, I called out when Charles Oliveira was fighting Islam, how it was going to happen, when it was going to happen, and how the submission was. Still didn't bet on him. I could have cashed out. Could have made big money. Big money.
Big
Drama show. Big drama show. But John, this is the fight though that I think if you're looking like, if I'm looking for someone that I want to go ahead and throw this down on, I'm saying the Xiaonan fight. She's a plus 122 against Jandiroba is a minus 145. I'm taking Jan 100%. Yes.
Jan's the plus in that.
Because this is where my rationale comes from. Every time I watch Jandiroba fight, she's good if she can get the takedown. But once she's been stuffed a couple times, she just becomes real like lethargic when she's trying to get her takedowns. She's very sloppy with the takedowns after that. She kind of just lumbers forward with like really horrible striking. You can't afford to do that with Jan. Jan is someone that comes in phenomenal shape. Her jiu-jitsu now has gotten good enough to stop submission attacks. And she's found ways to get back. I think she'll have a hard time against Jandiroba on getting back up to her feet. But I do believe that her wrestling takedown defense has gotten good enough to stop Jandiroba from taking her down, especially as they get a little sweatier.
Obviously, the odds maker are looking at it like, well, the way to beat Jan is with submission, and Jandiroba is fantastic with it. But I agree with you. I look at it and I think Jandiroba doesn't have a great takedown game. She uses a lot of, she drags people down by, getting on, attached to them and stuff. I just look at, I think that Jan she's the superior fighter everywhere other than the submission game, but she's good there. Mm-hmm. So I would go with Jan.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jan only based on the fact, like I know Jandiroba's fought better, like not better, but she's fought really high level competition, but Jan's fought the best. And look, overall, I know she came up short, but I'm simply saying like that. Have you seen? I've seen a better Jan after that fight.
Oh yeah,
she's been a better fighter after that. She's fighting with more confidence. She's also made the tweaks to her game. Didn't change too much. I think she's got the remedy to really stuff Jandiroba in this fight. The last one we're going to chat about is Chase Hooper is a minus 900. John, minus 900 against Jim Miller at a plus 575.
Well, I would take Jim Miller at plus 575 because he can win the fight. I'm not saying that I think that he's the favorite in it, which obviously the odds makers don't think so either. But yeah, this is one of those you look and you go, like, Jim Miller's got so much experience. He's so tough. If he can just hang with Chase Hooper throughout the first round, that's a biggie.
Mm-hmm.
Get through the first round and then start lighting him up. Turn it on. He's got all the skills to win that fight. So at that kind, you can't go with Hooper. Anybody that bets on Hooper is crazy.
Yeah,
there's too much of a chance you could lose that.
Yeah. The other thing though, I would probably maybe even swing the other way. You can go under at 1.5 at plus 142, or you can go over 1.5 at minus 170. I mean, there's ways to look at it. I mean, like, look, if Jim's going to lose, I think he's going to lose by submission.
Yeah.
And if Miller's going to win, he's going to win, I think, by knockout or TKO. Whatever, ground and pound, game finish, whatever it is. Yep. I mean, that fight's like, no matter what, like when you have someone that is a plus 575 against someone who's a minus 900, just throw a little down. It doesn't have to be a lot. Just take a chance. Like, whatever. I'm going to put this down here. I'm going to put this right here.
Just a little bit.
Maybe put this much right here. See this? Maybe put that much. Maybe double it up if you feel good. You know what I mean? So, I mean, those are just ways to try and capitalize. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick little episode that we just did real quick. We just crammed it all in real quick because we want to make sure you guys just can go right to this part of the show. betustv.com. Go ahead and check out all their sports. They got tons of sports on their channel there at betustv.com. And yeah, let's go ahead and move right on. But before we do that, here's a word from our sponsors. I got some good news, ladies and gentlemen.
Our podcast, Weighing In, was the first podcast to ever partner with OnlyFans.
Bringing you guys the best content we possibly can in the combat sports industry.
We are making some leeway on bringing sports to the OnlyFans platform,
where top-tier, world-class athletes can connect with their fans. We're talking about combat sports athletes like Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, Chris Cyborg,
Luke Rockhold,
AJ McKee.
You've also got pro surfers like Billy Kemper. Some chilling news.
I want you to head on over to the Weighing In OnlyFans channel.
More connection with our fans on our OnlyFans channel.
Only available on OnlyFans.
All right, we're back, guys, and guess what? We've got a whole nother fight card to talk about, which I gotta actually pull up. Is the PFL is coming up this week, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this card. John, go ahead and walk us through it. Do you have it up in front of you?
I do.
Okay, go ahead and pull it up for us.
Friday, April 11th, we've got the PFL. This is I don't know if it's not a second round, it's another round of their world tournament that they have. Now it's the bantamweights, which are new to the PFL, which is kind of interesting. Thank goodness. And also the flyweights for the women division is in here. So interesting as far as I don't think in the entire card, I think the heaviest person is 135 pounds. So a lot of fast fighters, a lot of good technique that's going to be showing up. But the main event of the evening is Josh Rittenhouse going up against Leandro Higo. I believe this was a change because Higo was supposed to fight. Go ahead.
No, he was supposed to fight. I can't remember who he was supposed to fight, but they lost
Magomedov.
Yeah, Magomedov. They lost 3 of their 135 pounders. They fell off the card.
So also Talia Santos is off the card. Based upon it, Kieran Clark I know was taken off of the card, so there's quite a few.
Yeah, they ended up with some backups on here, so we're gonna find out exactly how they end up supplementing these. But you know what, Liz Carmouche versus Joanny, that should be a fun fight. Joanny's got to be able to stop Liz Carmouche's takedowns, and
going to be tough for her to do.
I think it's gonna be real tough. But the thing is, Joanny, man, she's a scrapper.
The
problem is, John, she's not very consistent.
No.
One fight, good fights. One fight, she's knocking chicks down, and she's like pound and pound. She's
where she really seems to struggle any time is when you have someone that can take her down and be heavy on top of her and just start to utilize ground and pound. Well, where is Liz Carmouche strong?
Yeah,
so
very true.
It's not a good fight for her.
John, I don't know. Sorry, I skipped over the main event a little bit. Rittenhouse. I don't know much about Rittenhouse. Can you give me some insight on him?
Yeah, look, Josh Rittenhouse has fought everywhere for the most part. He's called the finisher. I love that part about his thing. Does
his girl call him that?
Dude.
I
don't know about that, but
that was fun.
Josh has fought. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. He's fought all over the regional scene, fought in like King of the Cage and fought in M1 Global, I believe it was. So a lot of experience, but not enough to beat Leandro Higo. This is going to be a very difficult fight for him to get by on. Higo's just got too much power. Rittenhouse is a good grappler, utilizes his grappling well throughout, most of his career is, he's got a lot of submissions. He's got some TKOs on the ground and pound because he's good off of the ground and stuff like that. But it's going to be a very difficult fight for him because his grappling, if it matches up with Leandro Higo's, okay, but the striking does not, the power does not, and that's going to be a real difference maker.
John, I'm actually, because now that I'm looking over the card, because there's been a lot of changes to it, it's falling apart.
Oh yeah, there's only 9 fights on it.
I know. But the thing is maybe you can give some people some insight on Kasimov because his opponents popped off as well. But then you've got Shaklava versus Velasquez, and you've got the fight that I'm most excited for is the Matos versus Hadley fight. Yeah. Hadley's first fight in the PFL, and then Matos is a dog. Literally, I didn't mean to, no pun intended, because he's from the Pitbull camp, but definitely like that's going to be a fun fight. The two of them are going to bang it out on the feet. Should be a very fun fight. You got Jake Hadley versus Matos.
Yeah, well, the one that you're talking about is Kasem Kazimov. He is a dynamite fighter. First saw him back in Russia, and he was fighting out of ACA back there. He is talented. He's fought in Bellator. You saw him fight in Bellator. He's got wins there, but he's that guy that he can fight anywhere. As far as he fought Josh Hill, if you recall, got a win against Josh Hill, and Josh is that guy that he's just good everywhere, good grappling, good wrestling, decent stand up, just not able to get past the really great fighters and stuff at this point, but he's in that position where I look at Kazimov as a real problem for a lot of people in this weight class. He's going to do well in the 135-pound tournament. So
how do you think he shakes out against somebody like Apache Mix?
Or
Rafion Stotts?
A Rafion Stotts would be a good fight because the wrestling would match up well. He's a good wrestler. Rafion's a good wrestler. I think Rafion is the faster fighter overall and the better actual grappler as far as submission game and everything like that. But Kazimov's wrestling, as far as his ability to utilize his stand-up, he's got good stand-up. He throws straight punches. Very much like if you're going to Timur Hizriev, very much like him in that he likes to be in the stand-up. He is comfortable there. Again, everyone says, if someone is from Chechnya or Dagestan, all they do is like to wrestle. No, a lot of them guys come first from a stand-up style.
Yeah.
And he's one of those guys. So
they just paint a broad brush because of Habib and Dagestan. Like they don't have to be from Dagestan. They can just look like they're from Dagestan.
That's right. They got a beard
from their wrestling.
They got a beard. That's what's going to happen.
But, exactly. So, what's another good fight on here though is Conor Watanabe and Jenna Bishop. Yeah,
it's actually a really good fight. When you're looking at it, the big difference, Conor Watanabe in the stand-up is not bad. She's actually, it's not bad.
Better than Jenna Bishop.
Exactly. On the ground, Jenna Bishop is really talented.
Yeah.
She is a really talented grappler. And Conor Watanabe coming from the judo, Japanese national team, she's a phenomenal grappler herself. But I've seen people that can, when they get her back, she starts to panic and things start to, go downhill for her. Jenna's outstanding at getting the back. But she's going to have to get through the stand-up of Conor Watanabe. Somewhere in here, Conor Watanabe, just based upon who she is, she's going to go for the takedown. That might not be the smartest thing she can do, and it could end up being the thing that bites her in the butt in this fight. But this is actually a really good matchup between the two. The one difference Conor is a much bigger and stronger fighter than Jenna.
Very true, but there's a lot of holes in her game on the ground.
Yeah,
like she's very sloppy when it comes to attacking submissions. She's good at getting the fight to the ground. Yeah, she makes a lot of mistakes. Jenna Bishop though is young, spry, kind of like.
Oh, she's not very young.
How old is she?
I hate to say that, man. I feel bad saying it, but she's 39 years old.
Oh shit, is she?
Yeah, she's old. She started late.
She doesn't look 39.
She's been that grappler forever, and then just started with MMA.
Who was the other girl that I was thinking of then that was young that we had that was really good at judo? She fought Benson Henderson's wife. Something Collins. Is that her name?
No, Sarah Collins is weight class up. She's the 145er.
Oh, who's the one that fought Benson Henderson's wife?
I know exactly. I want to say her name, and I'm going to screw it up. I want to say it was Sarah.
I can't remember her name.
I can't remember it either.
Okay, maybe I was thinking of her. She was young, I believe.
Yeah, she was scrappy.
That's who I was had it for some reason. I had that in my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I look.
I apologize, Jenna. I'm not saying that you're old.
I'm clipping this and sending it to her. But hit her up in her DMs. John says you're old. I think Watanabe is one of those females though that she's like a zombie. She gets hit, she just walks forward.
Yeah.
Almost like lumber. Remember that one time you fell on me inside the cage? It was like I kind of like went to knee tap you, and then like you just kind of tripped over and fell.
Is that what I fell? So the knee tap worked. So what you're saying is
no.
technique.
I went to fake it, and then like you just like went to move, and your knees are not what they used to be, and so you just kind of like toppled over a little bit on top.
Tippled and toppled.
Yeah, you go. Big words
Yeah,
for us these
got
days.
It.
That to me is going to be a really good fight. So I'm looking forward to that fight, the Jenna Bishop one and Watanabe.
Yeah.
John, any other fights on here you want to chat about?
No, like you said, I think the best fight actually on the card, the one that's the closest as far as competition, is Mateus Matos going up against Jake Hadley. I think that's actually going to be a really good fight.
That's going to be a really fun fight. I'm excited for that fight. Okay, hey, that's going to wrap up our PFL talk. And Keita, I don't want to call you. I'm going to call you Ginger George. Ginger George, he's got some news for us. What do you got for us there, Ginger?
Well, first of all, I want to remind our lovely listeners and viewers that
George's ginger is the sexiest ginger there is.
He's a red-headed ninja. It's called Ginger.
But if you're not doing anything, June 20th through 22nd, you should take your ass to Extreme Couture and sign up at MMAreferee.com for the Command Course. It's a 2-day judging course experience. You'll learn from the Big John McCarthy himself. Do it, sign up, pay money. Love it.
Do it, sign it, pay money. Anyway. Okay.
John, give us a little preview on what to expect.
Look, that's the command course has been in place now for about coming up on 20 years.
Wow.
I've taught all over the world with it and everything. And if you're looking to get ahead and possibly be part of the world of MMA, looking to be a referee or a judge, you can take a look at all the people that are doing it. A lot of them have gone through the course. A lot of them are still doing very well with their careers. Does not mean that you're going to make it. Does not mean that, it's going to be the course that's going to set you straight. But I will tell you, it is something you will learn something. I promise you're going to walk out of there smarter about the sport of MMA than you walked in. And that's really my goal in everything. So come on out and test your skills.
Yeah, I mean, stop sitting on the couch and talking shit. That's really what it comes down to. Yeah,
that's really what it is.
Let's see, get in there. Look, you can make a little extra cash too on the weekends if you're able to pass a course and get qualified into some of these state athletic commissions. And those of you who want to be front row, man, there's no closer than that position right there. So give it a try. George's got some news for us. We're going to talk on a couple topics and and move on from here.
Let's go, George.
I also want to remind all of our lovely fans, go check out the Dad Dojo podcast starring Josh Thompson, AEW star Bobby Lashley, and Rich Chow.
Former WWE champion Bobby Lashley.
Yes, former WWE champion, once defended our current president, Donald Trump, and former president, but our current president, Donald Trump's honor from Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Did you guys see the thing? So our producer for that show, he did what George did with the whole AI creation of the cartoons. Yeah. So this is what he did. So this is us. They took the AI photo that we took inside the studio. So that's the picture of us. And I go, this is what I imagine we look like when we take pictures next to each other. I go, but this is what it really looks like.
I was going to say, I don't know, but the guy did you a favor because you're just about as big as Bobby.
Oh, yeah.
And we know that's not true.
Oh, absolutely. I thought it was hilarious. So funny. I'm actually a little bit bigger than Bobby in that first picture. I was like, wait, this is wrong. And then Rich is a little bit taller than both of us. It's hilarious.
Well, Rich is taller than both of you.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, yes. He is.
He is 6'3", almost 6'4".
Yeah.
Man, he's a big Asian dude. Big dude.
He's a volleyball player.
George, what do you got for us, buddy?
All right. First up, recently on Ariel Helwani, Merab Dvalishvili. He was
Still
on
didn't
there.
say as bad as Chael.
I know. But he was on there.
Merab, I apologize, Merab.
Sorry.
Merab Dvalishvili.
But when asked about Sean O'Malley recently, he said, and I quote, "He is funny. He is cute. which I think is a concerning thing to say about a guy that you're about to have another 5-round championship fight up against. Do you guys think he's overlooking O'Malley, or do you think he's just purposely down?
Hold it. Did you not hear Sean O'Malley and Tim Welsh talking about Merab? Basically saying everything about, man, oh, you know what? I got him. I really like the guy, man. He's funny. He does this. He does that. You know, all just, you know, dude, he's a good guy. He's this and that. Merab sent him a text. Hey, stop talking nice about me. I got to hate you for the fight. So it doesn't, man. I love all that. I think it's great that, you know what, you can have fun with your opponent and everything. You don't always have to talk shit. You know, sometimes that's the way it's going to sell. Sometimes it's not. But like, if there's one thing about Merab and Sugar Sean, they both have personality. They both are fun. You know, they do things in a different way, but they both have a style about them. And Merab's style is, I like to have fun. I like to make fun of. I like to, you know, pull practical jokes. I like to do crazy things. And he's a guy that's enjoying life. He deserves it. And whether he talks nice or talks nasty about someone, he's going out there to try to tear your head off, you know, when he fights you. And so Sean knows that there's going to be there's nothing for no one's going to gain anything off of what the talk is. They're going to have to go out there and fight.
This is Merab's time to shine. You know, he waited patiently for Aljamain Sterling to lose the title.
And the loyalty of Merab in that entire situation, and the things, the way he would say and say, no, you know, I'm not fighting my friend, you know, and he meant it. And dude, I had nothing but admiration for him, the way he handled that whole situation. He goes, when it's my turn, it's my turn. And he got his turn.
I thought he was a bitch. He should have just fought him.
No,
John.
I liked it.
You know that I'm kidding.
I know.
John knows I'm kidding. For all you fans, I know you guys don't know me like that, but guess what? He's a bitch. No, bottom line is, no, I 100% respect that. I get it. I mean, we had guys in the gym multiple times, and I was asked several times to fight Gray Maynard and to fight, you know, other guys that we had trained with. There was even questions about me fighting Habib, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like, we're not doing this. I mean, you know, unless it was for a title, which that was my drawing line. This was literally like, if they had a title on the line, they decided not to fight. And I thought that was very respectful, very noble, it was awesome to see Merab do that. There's just so much stuff that can happen in between there, though. You could fight someone else and lose. You know, Sean could be there for fucking ever. You know, or not Sean, but Sterling could have been there forever. And so that didn't end up playing out. And then Merab came up and fought, you know, for the title and had success. Good on him, man. I'm looking forward to, and then he defended it against a very tough, you know, Umar. And it was a great fight. I thought it was a fantastic fight. Merab's enjoying this moment. He's done all the hard work. He continues to do all the hard work, and he's enjoying it. And I also agree with John on this, is that not everything needs to be shit talk. It actually makes the fights more fun when two guys can enjoy the banter back and forth and realize what's at stake when they get inside the cage. You know, I really want to see what Sean O'Malley we're going to see, because we had Tim Welsh on the podcast. And we talked about, hey, you know, Sean's supposed to have hip surgery. Sean's supposed to also do some stuff, you know, some other procedures, you know, with some other injuries that he has. Hopefully it all worked out. Hopefully he's feeling 100%. He's completely stopped drinking. I believe he's completely stopped smoking weed, and he's completely stopped partying and going out. And he's also got off of social media. He is focused on this fight. He needs to be focused on this fight.
It's the best thing he could have done.
I mean, we'll see. If he loses, no, it's not. It's fucking just wasted time. So he could have been making money on social media, John. Instead, he wasn't. So he's kind of in this position. If he doesn't win, it's all for nothing. Just to be honest. Am I correct?
This is true. Yeah, because he's also completely stopped sex.
Well, yeah, because John, he won the title drinking, smoking weed, having sex, and being on social media. Now, I know he lost the title, but if he doesn't win it back after quitting all those things, well, fuck, then just bring it all back.
Bring it all back?
Yeah, bring it all back.
That's awesome.
I think it's fun. I think it's great. The two of them have great personalities. We just talked about the whole Aaron Pico situation, about how the UFC is looking for fighters that, you know, will bring respect to the name of the UFC promotion. These two guys, they do that. You know, and Sean's had some controversial things that he said on his podcast about giving meth to babies and shit. But, you know, outside of that, though, I mean, Sean O'Malley is Sean O'Malley, and he's pretty much represented himself pretty damn well. I've worked with them. I worked with them on the Fanmio card with when Masvidal and Nate Diaz fought. And he's a super chill guy. It was awesome to kind of be around him and talk with him a second. Outside of that, man, Merab just seems like he's 100 miles an hour and is a good person himself. So good for
100
them.
miles an hour having fun.
Yeah, absolutely. What else, George? Hit us up.
All right. So during the fights over the weekend, UFC, the Spanish edition, Fuego, the broadcasters
And Fuego.
the broadcasters accidentally leaked apparently Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. Do you think there's some smoke to this fire? UFC said it's not happening. It was a mistake. That shouldn't have been out there. But that doesn't mean that the fight's not particularly going down, you know? What do you guys think about this?
Because the UFC always tells the truth, correct?
Always.
So I think it really
Every promoter is locked into being completely honest with the fans about what they're doing.
I mean, this fight could be possibly happening. I mean, remember Charles Oliveira's manager or trainer or whatever said, no, absolutely not. We're not taking that fight unless it's for a title. That's the only time we'll take it. Maybe it's for the BMF title. I doubt it. But I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, if somehow, some way they got to Ilia and said, hey, you have to fight this person. And I wouldn't be surprised if they told Charles, like, you're not getting the title shot until you fight this fight. And I'm going to be 100% transparent. From what I understand, Islam is waiting for the outcome of the Jack Della Maddalena and Bilal fight. So there's going to be some time. They want that fight to happen, and there's a possibility that Islam may go up. And so if that's the case, if Bilal loses, then Islam may go up. You know, and then he'll just vacate the title and let those guys fight for it. Let the peasants have it, is what he would say. No, it was leaked, which means they did the lower graphic on it. I don't know why they would have done it unless it would have been some sort of conversation or talking piece in their meetings, their production meetings. So maybe someone just got ahead of themselves and the contract really wasn't signed yet, but they were in negotiations.
Sure.
They let it out.
That lower standard that goes along the bottom of the TV, it's just put in there right as it's being, flicked across there. No one's looked at it or anything.
Yeah.
Come on.
It is what it is, John.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I mean, look, it may not be signed, but it's probably a strong possibility that fight's happening. That's good. I mean, I like that fight. That's
Fantastic fight.
That's a great fight. Then there'd be no concern about who should be the number one contender anymore.
Oh, no.
Ilia Topuria fights Charles Oliveira. If he beats Charles Oliveira, then he fights Islam next. And I think Islam would be 100% okay with that. Just he wants to have him fight somebody. I would have rather have seen the Sarukian versus Topuria fight first, but I'll take the Charles fight all day long.
Yep.
All right. I mean, look, after watching I watched Bryce Mitchell fight Topuria. He took him down. He controlled him on the ground a little bit. He had some success with him on the ground. Charles Oliveira just took down Michael Chandler, who's like 5'2". So he lifted him, scooped him, all of those things. So when I think of like what Charles Oliveira can possibly do to Ilia Topuria, I believe it can. I believe he can take him down and control him. He's and I think Charles is a better submission guy than Bryce Mitchell.
Are you taller than Michael Chandler? Or is he taller than you?
Shut your freaking mouth. Jump through this fucking thing and smash you. This is not going to stop me. I'm telling you right now.
No, really, it's not. It's not.
This is fucking crazy. That guy's got to jump and swing up just to hit me in my fucking knees. Get out of here with that bullshit.
That's awesome.
He's fucking
awesome.
tiny.
I just pushed the button.
Fucking little leprechaun. Anyways, let's go. What else you got for us, George?
All right. So we know that Kayla Harrison is fighting Juliana Peña. But what we now know is that she is coming in opening odds at a minus 590 over the champion. Damn. Juliana Peña is coming in at plus 370. What do you guys think about it? Is that fair? Is it warranted?
Yeah, it's warranted. I'm sorry, but Kayla Harrison is just, you can't take someone who's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. She's a multiple-time PFL champion at a higher weight class. She's used to dealing with all different types of females in terms of any type of combat sport. I totally underestimated her when it came to Holly Holm fight, and I put my foot in my mouth. I thought Holly was going to be able to stick and move and stay on the outside, stop the takedowns, and Kayla made me look like a buffoon. She went out there, mauled her to death, put her on her back, and just destroyed her from beginning to end. And I think this weight class is a fantastic weight class for her if she can keep the weight and not struggle to make the weight. And it looks like every time I see pictures of American Top Team and she's in the pictures, like whether it was a month ago or whether it's, 2-3 days ago, I saw a picture of her in it. She looks the same. She doesn't look like she did when she was fighting in the PFL, where she was ballooned up. She was thicker, had a larger muscle mass. She still looks ripped and shredded. She looks good, but she's muscular. She's going to always look that way. That's the way she is. But she looks lean, though. She looks great right now.
Yeah. I think the big thing, she had to change her diet and lifestyle as far as the way she ate, what she ate, to do this whole thing with the UFC and be in the 135-pound weight class. But as long as she sticks to it, she's going to be able to maintain and get be somewhere close so she can get to that weight for the fight. She's going to, instead of being 136, she's going to have to be a 135.
Yeah.
For this, got to be right on weight. But yeah, I agree with you totally as far as how do you take a look at Kayla and figure, it's going to be an even fight. There's been one person that's beaten Kayla. That was Larissa Pacheco. That was after Kayla had already fought her 2 times and beaten her 2 times, which, you get to the third one after you've beaten them twice. It's tough. It's tough to get up for the fight. It's all those things. She lost a decision to her. Kind of learned a lesson off of it, I think. But it's a matter of, she's going to be up for this fight with Juliana. Juliana's going to get the very best Kayla Harrison there is. Juliana's tough as hell. She's game, but she's not that person that you look at that says, oh, her striking is so superior to Kayla's that she's going to really give Kayla problems in the striking. It's not. Where, Juliana is strong is where Kayla is strong. And to sit there and to think that Juliana's grappling is going to be that much better than Kayla's ain't happening. Exactly. It's just not.
And Juliana's not going to be as strong, period.
No,
she's not going to be as strong as her.
There's going to be things.
Not going to be as strong.
There's going to be things that Juliana has done in the past and is used to doing, and it works. And Kayla's going to just shut it down.
Yep.
She's that physically strong for a 135-pound woman. You're talking about one of the strongest, just one of the strongest females that's ever fought as far as in that weight class. So yeah, she's a handful and she deserves to be the big favorite.
I would agree, John. I mean, there's no other way to put it. John, there's 2 more things that we're going to talk about. They kind of go together, but this is the last one that we're going to talk about, and we'll add on a little bit, but just like a talking note on it, is Michael Chandler responds to the cheating accusations. I figured there's no better time to talk about it than right now, because I want to know what the odds are on the over-under on whether he cheats in this fight against Paddy Pimblett. That's what I want to know. Here we go.
How do you react to those comments, and also just this notion that, hey, that Michael Chandler guy, he cheats in his fights?
Yeah, I mean, the narrative is tough, man.
No
People don't really know me. Unless you're in my inner circle, you don't know who I truly am outside of in front of the camera. People have their sneaky suspicions that I'm some, I play nice in front of the camera and I'm a bad guy behind the camera. You're always going to have those accusations, right? But I know who I am, and I know who I am at my core. I'm a guy who tries to do things right, tries to treat people right, do things with honor and respect. So the cheating narrative is a little tough for me, but also it's all part of the court of public opinion, man. Did I grab Dustin Poirier's mouthpiece? Yes, I did, because I thought it was his chin. I've already addressed that one. Things happen in a fight. Are you going to reach over and grab the cage? Are you going to, get your fingers in the glove? Yeah, those things are going to happen in a fight. In the last fight, Charles Oliveira dug his chin so deep into my eye socket that I thought I was going to go blind, which is illegal. It's an eye gouge, right? He was grabbing my gloves when he was trying to choke me. There was these things happen when you're inside of the cage. I would never say that Charles Oliveira is a cheater. His body is reacting and doing things without his brain's permission. All right, you're in fight or flight. Things happen. So it's a tough narrative. With that being said, I also respect Paddy for not making a big deal out of it. I mean, I think it's a sign of weakness when you start talking about a guy cheating. The most interesting one to me was Justin Gaethje. You know, like Justin Gaethje's a savage and like calling me a cheater. I'm like, dude, you know, come on, man. Like it's a little bit of a sign of weakness. But either way, things happen in there. The fans aren't gonna like everything that you do. Fans aren't gonna like you 90% of the time anyway. So it doesn't really matter. So we'll just leave it at that. I am doing exactly what I feel necessary in the fight. The referee, if they tell me to stop, I'm going to stop. There's a lot of things that you do inside the octagon that you're doing.
All right, that wraps it up. John, a couple things. Oh, like people don't really know me outside. They don't know because they've never been inside the cage with you. Who you are outside and who you are inside, I know they're completely different people.
Yeah.
But cheating's cheating. I don't give a shit if I'm cheating outside or if I'm cheating inside the cage. Cheating's cheating. If you're cheating at fucking badminton, it's still cheating. If you're cheating inside the cage, grabbing someone's mouthpiece, it's still cheating. You thought it was his chin. You didn't feel the wetness when it went into his mouth?
No, but he did feel the teeth when they went into his fingers.
Like, I mean, I don't know. I thought it was kind of a lame excuse, but it is what it is. I mean, it was guys are going to do things. And then to say what he said about Justin Gaethje, to say what he said, you know, in terms of like, hey, people are going to have those opinions. Yes, fans are going to have their opinions. The problem is though, is it you?
No, it's when fighters have these opinions.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a difference.
It's when the fighters that you have fought, and not one, two, three, multiple ones have said that you're. Benson Henderson has told me you were a cheater. You know, like it's just the things that you do inside the cage. It represents who you really are as a person. Like, don't get me wrong. There's been times where I've grabbed inside someone's glove, but I've let it go right away. There's been times where I fought Accusations Johnson outside of the UFC, and he had dreads, and my fucking hands and gloves got stuck in his finger. He's like, "Hey man, it's a bitch move, pulling my hair." I'm like, "Bro, my gloves and my Velcro are stuck inside your hair. There's nothing I can do. I can't get them out." And I was like, "Hey," so we had to wiggle it out a little. You know what I mean? Like, you know when something's wrong. Benson Henderson, I could have probably. There's a chance that I could have finished that fight in the rear naked. There's a couple things that happened. I didn't have him braid his hair like other fighters that actually mandatory or had asked for him to braid his hair. But I inhaled his hair and his hair went down my fucking throat when I had his back. That was one. Two is I went to put my hand behind his head to choke him because I had the rear naked several times in that fight. And my glove and the glove got stuck into his hair. My fingers were fine, but the glove itself got stuck in his hair. It's already hard enough to get the glove behind the back of someone's head. Now include the hair. I really wish I would have had him braid his hair. I really would have. But the excuses that I heard from Michael Chandler just seemed like, hey, it's not that the fans are going to do what the fans do. Yeah, that's them. But it's when your peers, the people you have shared the cage with, have those type of comments. It's not a good look. And then you're like, oh, well, you know, they're just going to say it. And you look at it as a sign of weakness. There's nothing weak about Justin Gaethje. There's nothing weak about Dustin Poirier, you know, and I'm sorry. There's nothing weak about Benson Henderson or anyone else that you fought since you've been in the UFC. Those guys are all savages. So and to add cherry on this, because I'm going to add this little tidbit, is that Dustin Poirier is working the desk for this fight coming up.
That's awesome.
And so you should expect, if there's any illegal blows,
if there's anything,
he's going to call this out.
Look at here's you go back to UFC 73 was in Sacramento, California. Tito Ortiz fought Rashad Evans, and he multiple times grabbed the cage, and I took points from him for grabbing the cage. And they asked him about it afterwards because the fight ended up being a draw based upon the points that I took. And Tito came up with a great line. He didn't answer the question. They said, were you purposely cheating? Tito's, well, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And so it is the old line. But there's certain things that you can look in, and Michael's had multiples that you can look into. And against Dustin Poirier, he had multiples in that, he honestly blew his nose while in a mount position all over Dustin's face. Okay. What are you doing?
That doesn't bother me, John.
No.
That's
When you're blowing, snot bubbles with blood, you know, and we're trying to rub it into his face. No,
That's fair game to me.
no, it's not fair game.
See, John, it's so weird to hear a ref say you have a problem with that.
It's unsportsmanlike.
It's fucking fighting.
No. Not when you're purposely blowing the blood out of your nose onto your opponent.
Is it in the rules?
Yeah, it's called unsportsmanlike.
No, John, that is not. No.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. No.
Okay, just because you go
Spitting on
no,
people is different.
It's the same thing.
No, it's not. I'm blowing my nose.
Yes, it is. No, it's
John, I actually
you just put yourself in the exact position I was going to come up with. Well, if I spit on you, how does that feel? So spitting on you is not good, but to sit there and go and blow and rub the blood into your face,
well, sometimes
that's okay.
Sometimes you got to blow a snot rocket in the cage, and sometimes
It's okay if you blow it. It's okay if you blow it.
Somebody.
It's okay if you spit in the cage. You can spit on the canvas.
But I'm just saying, sometimes you got to do it, John. And if it just happens that it so happens that I'm on top, then that's what happens that I'm on top.
How many times have you seen someone go and be in a position and go and blow it off to the side? All the time.
Yeah, but
the time.
But when you're in a dogfight, John.
Okay, it's a dogfight. So Michael Chandler, you agree with him and what he's doing?
No. I don't agree with him breaking rules.
Shut your hole right now. I'm talking.
I don't agree with him breaking rules. That is not breaking a rule.
So I guess when he's also in a position where he gets someone's back and just starts hammer fisting straight down.
That's
oh no. It's a punch.
Breaking a rule. That's breaking.
It's a punch. What are you talking about? It's a punch.
Breaking a rule. You're trying to
know.
shake
You
the
see
argument
again.
to
Look at
favor your bad rule.
I'm not favoring anything. I'm the one saying it's bullshit. You're doing it. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, that was bullshit because he did it multiple times. It wasn't one or two back of the head. It was like 4 or 5.
To sit there, what I think what happens is Michael gets to a position where there's a possibility he can win the fight, and he's going to do anything he can.
Yeah.
To get that win at that time. And hey, it's incumbent upon the fighters themselves to respond. It's incumbent upon the referees to make sure that they don't allow them to get away with it. Because
that's the crazy part
of
though,
it
because
is cheating.
Those punches to the back of the head could have ended the fight.
Could have.
And if it would have ended the fight, do you go to the replay and be like, oh yeah, it was illegal blows? I mean, like, how do you?
Absolutely. That's why there is a replay official. We call it the RO. That is now there for every fight in the UFC. They're sitting right next to usually the executive director of the commission. You'll see them they have headphones on. They can ask the truck for multiple views in different ways of what occurred. And you'll see, anytime you see the referee inside and they do this spinning motion with their hand, that's saying, I want you to take a look at what just happened. It's just their way of getting the RO to know, I want you to look at that situation I just had. And that the RO can tell them, exactly what they, saw. So,
do you think they would have in that situation with Charles and Chandler?
Absolutely.
All you can do is just fingers crossed and hope they would have made the right choice. Because in that situation, that was nasty. He took some big shots to the back of the head. And with the Dustin Poirier thing, the feet in the mouth, or the fingers in the mouth, the feet in the mouth, the fingers in the mouth, foot fetish. Here we come. OF, baby. But it was just one of those situations where I just hear excuses and just trying to play it out. And it's go ahead.
It really is. It always cracks me up when people make statements at times. And do you really think about the statement you're making? Because when Chandler said, that like Justin Gaethje was weak, that's a weak, view to say. Just so you remember, that weak individual beat you.
Yeah, but it's not just that. You're saying he's weak because he wants to follow the rules. You're saying he's weak because you're breaking the rules and cheating, trying to beat the weak guys.
And he doesn't like the fact that you're cheating.
Yeah. It's still, at the end of the day, it's a sport, and it says a lot about your character when you feel like people that complain about you breaking the rules are weak. It just says who you are. And I can put aside, like, I honestly, in this situation, I could put aside how I feel about him and just be like, hey, that's a very just shitty comment to make, because these guys they're doing exactly what you're doing in terms of putting their life on the line to step inside the cage and to take any chance you can or take any opportunity you can to fucking cheat just to beat them. It's a sport. And like I've said this about myself, I've said this about everyone. In 10 years, John Jones, when he's gone, people are not going to care. GSP sure is looked at as like this huge idol, but like no one really talks about him anymore.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Like, and how long has he
No,
been
when you
removed?
step away, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. It's over. Like, the media stops making you a priority. You're not a big deal anymore. And it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're John Jones, GSP, doesn't matter. Everyone falls off into the abyss. And so that's what I think bugs a lot of the fighters with comments like this. It sure hell it bugs me because we put our lives on the line for this short period of time to chase glory, to chase, all these things that we have loved doing since we were kids. Wrestling, fighting, boxing, kickboxing, taekwondo, whatever it is. We've loved doing this for however long. We put our life on the line, and then for you to come in and feel like it's just okay and that we're weak because we want to follow the rules and make sure that you don't get fucking hurt. Like, not hurt because I cheated, but hurt because I actually won the right way. There's a difference. We're not the same. I'm trying to win the right way. You're trying to win anyway. If you want to do that, fucking go get in a street fight. There's fucking bums that will fight you under the bridge. I can have you guys fight for a fucking cheeseburger. You know what I mean? Like that's bullshit to me. So that comment, but I'm looking for, I hope he doesn't cheat this fight because Dustin Poirier is at the desk. And he's going to have some shit to say afterwards. So makes for fun. Anyways.
He had a lot to say on that podcast.
He sure did. I thought it was hilarious. All right, hey guys, that's going to wrap up our show. And I want you guys to remember, subscribe to us over at OnlyFans. It is free. We do our live show there every Tuesday night. We didn't do it last night because it just wasn't working out. Time schedule and all that stuff didn't work out. We will be back next week for the live show. John's also got an extra episode dropping for you guys. This week, it's about Diego Lopes and the insides outs of his career. And it's a special episode, just John. So those of you guys that hate me, you guys can go ahead and just tune into that. And it's going to be a great thing that John's putting together specifically for Diego Lopes and his run towards, or his
run towards the title.
Yeah, his run towards the title. So I'm looking forward to seeing what John comes up with, but that should drop hopefully either on Friday or Saturday morning. Keep an eye out, turn your bells and notifications on, hit the thumbs up, and subscribe to our channel. I want to thank you guys so much. And also, too, Drink Element. I've been drinking it. There you go, Drink Element. Use the link down below in the descriptions. Pick up an extra bonus package with every purchase with our link down below in the descriptions. And like I said before, this episode is brought to you by BetUSTV.com. Check it out. Good luck. If you guys are placing anything down at BetUSTV.com, if you guys are, good luck. And come visit us again if you took our information. John, take us away.
For everyone out there, I hope you enjoy the fights coming up. There's an entire weekend of them. Friday, the PFL. Saturday, huge UFC with some amazing fights. Good luck to everyone that's out there, and we will see you.